Earlier today, while covering the National Convention for ENCA, I made some on-air comments about ANC National Spokesperson Mahlengi Bengu Matsiri. At the time, I thought I was being cheeky and clever, but I've since been made to understand just how very deep those comments cut. And not just to the ANC National Spokesperson, but for women across the country. They touched on the very issues we're talking about at the National Convention, issues of race, identity, a lack of mutual respect. But they also cut very personally. And I never go out to intentionally hurt anyone's feelings, but I'm very sorry knowing tonight that I've done that today. This is a personal apology. More will follow from ENCA and myself over the course of the weekend.
Welcome back to 10 Minutes with Kuhle. I'm your host, Kuhle Maseko. Ladies and gentlemen, today has to be one of those days where I am very angry. And I'll explain why I'm angry. And that is because South Africa is dying. And is dying because we allow race to oversee all the other problems we have, such as corruption, poverty, injustices that we face, GBV. This past weekend, because today's Monday, right? It's Monday. Sweet. This past weekend had to be one of those weekends where I feel like we took 2 steps back instead of, that whole 1 step back and 2 steps forward talk from the great communist himself, Vladimir Lenin. That was one of his quotes. This week, we saw Twitter celebrating Dricus du Plessis, losing. We saw that. Okay, that's fine. And then we also saw Andrew Barnes, the video that you just saw right now, right? Andrew Barnes, the ENCA news anchor, apologizing to Mahlengi Bengu Matsiri, the ANC spokesperson, and that lady that once, in her infinite wisdom, told South Africans that an international companies on State of the Nation, another podcast with Mike Shem, told them that if you don't want to comply with BE, EEA, and all those other racist laws, you can go and invest in India. That's what she said. I'm not making it up. So I didn't make it up. That is what she said. So, ladies and gentlemen, and you saw the clip for yourself now. What I'm saying is, Andrew Barnes was so wrong to apologize. Why did he apologize? What is racist about what he said? We saw Vincent Magwenya coming out. I thought Vincent Magwenya, the spokesperson of the presidency, right? He came out and said, Andrew Barnes, this racist, blah, blah, blah. We don't accept your apology.
Should I invest in your country or shouldn't I? How would you answer that particular investor?
That you can go and invest in India.
So go somewhere else?
Yes.
Okay. So a multi-billion-dollar...
That's what he said on Twitter. You can go and read the tweets for yourself. This Vincent Magwenya guy is a problematic guy. He is the spokesperson of the presidency, right? Now, when did he become the spokesperson of the ANC to interfere over an apology that was going towards the ANC? Even if I don't agree with the apology. But when did you now become the super spokesperson that also interferes with ANC stuff? It just goes to show, how deep cater deployment is in the state. That you've got a supposed, I would say he comes across as someone that is aligned with the ANC. Well, I'm not shocked. You can't become the spokesperson of an ANC president without belonging to the ANC. Life doesn't work that way. So he gets there, he says, we don't accept this rubbish apology. Now, here I am. I'm going to ask you, Vincent Magwenya, you. When will your president apologize for poverty? When will your president apologize for not condemning the song Kill the Boer? When will your president apologize for the mass inequality that we see in the townships? When will he apologize? But we are so obsessed with semantics, obsessed with Andrew Barnes saying, what's her name? Mahlengu Bengu. What do you call it? You ate 2 sandwiches of the crew. What's racist in that? What is racist? I don't see anything racist. I don't see. There's nothing wrong with what Andrew Barnes said. There's absolutely nothing wrong with what Andrew Barnes said. This culture of being woke and extremely sensitive is the same fabric that is keeping us from removing you, Vincent, removing you and the ANC. Let me tell you something. If it was me, I would have never apologized. Well, I'm black, so, it would have been difficult to label me as a racist. But I would have never apologized. What's there to apologize about? What happened to freedom of speech? What happened to that? Right now, your president is running a national dialogue, and he is controlling it like an auntie controls a ceremony at an African wedding. He is controlling it. Who can talk? No. I am the president. That's what he told Thabo Mbeki. Yeah, I am the president. I am the president. Let me tell you something. It is utter rubbish. It is nonsensical that we've got such leaders. It's pathetic that we've got such people who, there are so many problems in this country. Huh? We've got tariff issues. We've got farm murders. We've got GBV. Children are being kidnapped. Women are being raped. People are being deleted. But no. Oh, there's no electricity. There's potholes. There's hostels. There's violence. But no. Those are not big problems. Hold it right there. The big problem is racism, right? That's according to Vincent Makwena. Racism where it does not even exist. That's my problem as well. That, there's nothing racist with what Andrew Barnes said. There's nothing racist that he said. I'm very sorry. Yes, you can say that maybe he is he's body shaming. Maybe you could say that. Maybe that's a more valid argument. But for racism, and the funny part is, the ones that are pushing this narrative that Andrew Barnes is racist is that useless twat called Herman Mashaba. Is that twat that turned down the wrong side of the road after he got 1% in the last election. I want you to understand, Herman, only 1% voted for you. And of that 1%, quite a large number of them happen to be white. So be careful of ostracizing your white voters, because you'll come back with less than 1%. That's my promise to you. Hairman, Judas Mashaba, Hairman Iscariot, makes me very, very angry. Makes me extremely livid when I see our politicians arguing over semantics, things that are neither here or there. I mean, Herman, your mayor, Nasipi mayor, right, is struggling at the moment. We have seen the AG's report. It's not looking good. This fallacy that you create, right, on on Twitter, that people love her. Yeah, cool. Buy the bots if you want to buy the bots. But service delivery is not happening. I can tell you that as a resident of the city of Tshwane. Now, before I digress, because this video is not about Herman, it really isn't about Herman. It's about the racial issues that happened over this past weekend that have taken me up to here. So, ladies and gentlemen, just please watch this clip. There's a clip here that I'm going to play for you that is, I think it's eye-opening. It's a clip of Nota. Please listen to it.
White people have no moral authority to lecture any black person about racism. There's no white person that has got any moral authority to lecture me about racism. On December 16, I clean up the graves of my uncles who were killed by whites. Every single year. That's my grandmother's birthday. I know what it's like to have a generation of fatherless cousins. The pain that I feel. My mother is Mother Christmas every Christmas because her brothers are no longer living to take care of their children. So her and her husband have to put money together. And my father has to take care of the family that he's already lobolat, continuing, because he's in a privileged position. He couldn't just take my mother and take her away from her burdens.
So that there, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the country's fools called Nota. Is another idiot. And yeah, Nota, if you want to come after me, feel free. I'm not afraid of you. You can come after me. I'm not that type to be moved by your scare tactics or whatever it is. Come after me. I've got freedom of speech. If I don't like you, I don't like you. If I think you're a fool, I think you're a fool. You can't force me to think that you're smart. So he says, speaks of white people, and his message, it's self-explanatory. It's rubbish. I don't need to do too much talking. He says white people superiority, white people cannot lecture black people on 1, 2, 3, X, Y, Z. My opinion on this is both sides of the coin need to deal with racism. Right. This idea that black people can't be racist is false. We have seen black people becoming racist, and very scarily, it's happening. And we've got to deal with that, same as in the white community. That, I'll be honest with you, I work with whites and black people every day. There are very good white people that I work with, exceptional, right, that have been there, that have supported me, and have done so much, same as black people. Now, like any other race or culture, they are bad apples. It's the nature of life. You cannot expect a whole community to be good or to be tolerant or, So I'm not going to be this Nelson Mandela guy and say, we need to achieve equality, non-racialism. No, 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 no. My message is very clear to you. You are South African before you are Afrikaans or Zulu, before you are white or black. You are South African.
On the 17th of April, I was involved in a traffic incident which resulted in a confrontation between myself as well as another driver. And having had made time to reflect on these events, I want to take full responsibility for my actions. Although I did not assault the other driver, I believe that I should have been more composed and found a way to de-escalate the situation. And I fell short of the standards I hold myself to. And for that, I want to express my regret and sincere apologies to our viewers, my colleagues here at Newsroom Africa, and the management. I've worked really hard to make sense of this experience and the root cause of my response. And I hope that through my actions from now on, to rebuild the trust and the confidence placed in me as I continue on this journey to do better. And to the babies out there as well, I want to say Uncle Eldrin is really, really, really sorry. I'm really sorry. And I hope that you'll be able to forgive me.
Now, in sticking to us speaking of journalists and racism and all that stuff, you saw the video of Aldrin St. Pierre. Aldrin St. Pierre is a journalist. He was involved in a little road rage incident on the 17th of April with a white lady. Now, Aldrin St. Pierre, the interesting thing is he kept his job, right? Yeah, he apologized. You saw that apology. But the interesting thing is he now works at the Department of Tourism after that incident. And this goes back to my issue with Andrew Barnes, the ENCA guy that we're talking about just now, is Andrew Barnes will probably be punished for saying that Mahlengi Bengu ate 2 sandwiches. See, neither here or there. And then Eldrin St. Pierre, oh my gosh, the darling guy. Well done, chap. You are going to get a huge upgrade, because you can't call this a promotion because it's not a journalist job. He's working for the Department of Tourism, so I can't call it a promotion. You're going to get yourself a better job for government. Government, we love hiring people that cause real problems. But those that crack a joke or say something that isn't, we are coming right after you. Speak about the double standards. Double standards, I call it out. Double standards.
White culture is formed in savagery. I also said there isn't a place on God's green earth that they haven't come there and decimated the native inhabitants. There isn't a place. They're murderous savages. That's their culture. They call it conquest. We call it savagery. This is broad history. This is the history of white cultures. When they have the intention to invent a weapon, they don't just invent a weapon that can harm an enemy in one-to-one combat. No. They invent bombs that can decimate entire populations. They invent viruses like smallpox that they spread amongst unvaccinated Native Americans and then decimate their populations. And therefore the Americas, have got a native population which is less than the settler population in certain countries like Argentina. I mean, even a country like Brazil, yes, obviously there are still some native inhabitants there, but their population is less than those who were brought in from Africa as slaves, as well as those who came in as European settlers in the colonial times. So the culture of white people throughout white history, even to this very date, is that of savagery. It's that of inhumane behavior that is normalized to the point where they feel like they're entitled to behave like that. White people came here. They need to assimilate to our culture, not the other way around. It's bad enough we speak their language with a proficiency that they cannot even master. But they still need to assimilate to our culture. They need to assimilate to Ubuntu. That's the only way in which we can coexist within this environment. Otherwise, we will slaughter all of them, drive them to the sea, literally. It might not be me. It might not be me calling for it.
I'm not a part of that thing. I'm just allowing him to talk.
No, I'm just saying, it might not be me. It might not be me calling for that. In fact, if white people are being driven to the sea, I'm least likely to be in the front lines driving them to the sea, right? Because of my disposition. But
what is your disposition?
As in, I'm a privileged black person in this country.
So why would you want to drive white people to the sea if you're just as privileged as they are?
The majority of black people, right, have been oppressed by white people and the white system. And if at any point they decide that they want to drive people to the sea, I will not discourage them.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that clip that you just saw there is from that same idiot, Nota. The 2 clips actually that I put for you speaks about white culture being savagery. Wow. Yeah, man. What must I say? There's not too much for me to say because it's rubbish. The bottom line is, if we look at history, during the 1800s, the 1700s, it was normal for killing to happen, okay? I am part Zulu, because of my one parent. And I can tell you that Shaka Zulu killed many people. To tell you outright. So this notion that black people were living in peace and harmony, as if Zulus were living there, Xhosas, everything was hunky-dory for white people is cock and bull. It's a lie. Because that's how to have the Imfakane. stories? How do you have the driving of the Tsongas or the Shangans to Maputo? How do you have the Nguni separation between the Xhosas, the Zulus, and the Swatis? It's through violence. Okay? How do you have the captivity of Sutus and making them slaves? It's through violence that happened during those days. So I'm not here to make it sound like I'm beating a drum, because I'm not beating a drum. I'm not owned by anyone. I'm speaking based on knowledge and facts. The bottom line is, killing during those days was not an awkward occurrence, right? And I'm not condoning it or saying that it was right, don't get me wrong. What I'm trying to say, to make it seem as if it was only white people, is very wrong. Colonization also happened amongst black people. You need to ask yourself, let's go back 400 years. Was slavery wrong 400 years ago? Ask yourself that question. And after getting the answer, I'm going to give you a story. So 20 odd years ago, I was in a concert, right? Where I was a school concert, where I was the monkey in the concert, the monkey. And back then it was a funny thing. It was a joke. Everyone laughed. Mind you, the majority of that school happened to be black. Now, people laughed. It was a good joke. Funny, funny, funny. And then come back to today. My skit of being a monkey would have been seen as racism today, just to show how sensitive and how society is just becoming so sensitive. I mean, you've got to ask, because back then it made sense, like what I'm saying about slavery. I'm not saying I support slavery. Please don't get me wrong. I'm just saying what is wrong today was probably never wrong 20, 40, 50 years ago. You know, there was a time when people would hit their kids, pardon me. You know, corporal punishment was allowed. And most of you who watch my videos can remember that time. But now, if someone is to hit your child, you probably got hit as a kid at school. But now if someone is to hit your child at school as a teacher, you will go mad. That's just to show how things rapidly change. And I don't think there is an appreciation of the fact that things change in society. That appreciation needs to exist. Now, I'm going to show you a video of a lady, Mandisa Mashiho. Please do check this out. I find this very interesting.
The white man is laughing at you. And let me tell you, white men are not laughing at black women. I'll give you a small secret. White men even prefer to do business with black women. There's a study that was issued. There's a conversation that Johan Rupert had. I don't know whether he had it on Power FM or another platform.
Yeah, it was the chairman's conversation.
Yes, and he was very accurate. But because black men, your egos are so fragile, you are inverted. That's what I call it. I call it an inverted psychological state of being. That's my own analysis. It's not there's no psychologist who did a study.
Okay.
Your egos are too high and your self-esteems are too low. It should be the other way around. Your self-esteems must be high and your egos must be very low.
So, Sis Mandisa,
Nina nila.
how do we
That's
get to
the
metric?
problem.
So in that video, you hear Mandisa Mashiho saying quite a lot of factual stuff. I tend to agree with her. I won't go too deep into that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please, I need to highlight, I don't want my title on my thumbnail to seem as if it was clickbait, as if I brought you here just to get angry. No. In fact, here is the video that I'm talking about when I speak of a gentleman that says that white people are creatures and they need to be killed, and does not like white people at all. So please do watch the video. I will give my analysis on the video when the video is actually complete. The video is about, so just watch the video.
Ready for war. Me, I'm ready for war. Let's go with them to war. We can't shrink ourselves with 7% population of white people. We are 93%. They are 7%, these white creatures. And they're here to demand a king like me, telling me what the fuck to do. Yan glitchisa, man. Yan glitchisa. You tell me what the look around, we are seated. People have no jobs. Look around, look around. We're still waiting for these creatures to give us economy. My father, Chrisani, was fighting for the economy. What the fuck is the economy? How do you run the country without printing your own money? How do you run the country without owning a bank? How do you run a country without owning the minerals? Yet we drive the sports cars. We have the smartphones made by our minerals. Fuck this. Let me tell you something about me. I am fucking ready for war. Kill the Boer. I am fucking ready for war. Where is the true MK? Let's go. Let's go for war with these creatures. Let's fucking go for war. This thing of that we're gonna go for the system with the system, we're not gonna win. When they came here, they found us civilized and they caused us to be uncivilized. Today they will tell you a black person is lazy. A black person is lazy. Fuck them and their system. Me, I'm ready to die and to live for my country. I want to join EFF. I want to join MK. I want to join ANC. Fucking collide all this MK, EFF, ANC. We need one strong political power in Africa. Nigerian presidents, we need all of us here in one South African United Nations. One political party, one ownership, one rulership, one military. We fuck up the country. We fuck up these creatures. Right now, I've lost my patience for talking on TikTok. I need action now. I need action. Right now. Fuck white people. I'm done. I can't pretend anymore. Even when I go out with a white boy, I feel it in my brains, in my veins, that I'm disgusted. Why are we complying to their system? We had our own fucking system. They learned the system from us. Today they fucking want to govern us with this system. Don't fuck around. Don't fuck around. They learned to bath from us, the white people. They don't know how to bath. They didn't know how to dress. That's why they kill. Let's go for war. Put me in the front, I will lead the war. Put me in the front, I will put a bullet. I'll be the first to kill a Boer. I'll be the first to kill a white man. I, myself, I'm done. You know, these fucking white people, right? They came here, found us civilized. As they found us civilized, they made us to be uncivilized. And later, they claim that they are bringing civilization to us. Same people who were uncivilized, who learned civilization from us. They learned civilization from us. Today they fucking calling us uncivilized. Fucking white people. Fucking white people calling black people uncivilized. They brought civilization. They learned civilization from us. Fuck that GPS. They learned to bath from us. They learned to do everything from us. Today, they live in fucking mansions. And they call us uncivilized. and they will tell you, this is the fucking problem with black people. This is the fucking problem with fucking white people. That's the fucking problem with white people. We go to their offices. We bow to their money. From the 1st to the 2nd, 3rd, the 31st, waiting for a paycheck to buy the same fucking food that they took from us. Fuck this country. Let's fucking fight ourselves. 7% of white population driving crazy 93% of black population. They are the ones who are uncivilized. They harvest our energy to become civilized. Because without us, they are the true creatures. June 16, they killed all of us. Muammar Gaddafi, Samora Machel, Sankara, all these leaders.
Now, I don't know if this man is drunk, if he had something to drink, or, you know, he maybe had a racial incident that happened before shooting this video. But what he's saying is utter garbage. We need to condone such. It's unfortunate that this man has not been found, right? We're not arresting this guy. We're not doing anything. But Andrew Barnes, who speaks about sandwiches, is the guy that must face the music. I'm up to here when it comes to South Africa. I have lost hope. I shouldn't be losing hope, but I'm up to here. You know, it really is shocking to see the type of people that we live amongst. It really is shocking. You know, we've got to end racism. That's all I can say, because if we don't nip this in the bud, I promise you, a civil war is on its way. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've watched till the end, please subscribe. We really need those subscriber numbers to go up. As well as, please do consider, you know, joining the membership of the channel. It's as cheap as 20 Rand. It helps us to keep this wonderful research going. As well as do support us by sharing this video far and wide. You can also buy me a coffee by sending a super chat in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching till the end. It is truly appreciated. Let us work hard to end racism in South Africa. Let us condone those racists. Let us shame the racists. And let's build a united South Africa and a capitalist one.
Ubuntu means white people cannot have Ubuntu. And that means white people are not human.
It's a staggering remark to go along those lines because, of course, as we know from a legal perspective, many crimes are inflicted because the victim is a human.
Correct.
Where if the victim is not a human, if you have this process of dehumanization, if the victim is just an object, then, you know, many crimes that could be committed towards white people are not relevant anymore. Is this how this theory then plays out?
Absolutely. Jordan Peterson and a co-author showed that in countries where genocides happen, it is always preceded by this kind of dehumanizing discourse, especially when the dehumanizing discourse is coupled with an enhanced sense of victimhood, which is exactly what you have in the case of Azanian critical theory.